Hello and welcome to Emergent Soul Conversations, the podcast promoting self-love and awareness with the hopes of developing sisterhood and community. We will be discussing concepts that pull on the hearts of today's woman. I'm your host, Karen Elaine, and I will share my life experiences along with inviting others to sit down with me who inspire me and also have a willingness to share their soul's journey. This podcast will give us meaningful and intimate conversations that'll help us create a life by design and not default. If this is your first time listening in, I thank you. Now on till today's episode. I had an incident yesterday that made me think about the importance of finding forgiveness. And as much as we always think about that we have to forgive other people, it really made me hone in on forgiving myself. The phrase forgive and forget has been passed on for ages. But how many people do you know personally that can do both parts and apply them successfully? For some, forgiving is a lot easier than forgetting. I know that's been true for myself until recently, and why I try not to hold a grudge, even though I've done it in the past. I really had to look at the damage that unforgiving caused on my spirit and what it caused me to detract from myself. When I began on my journey, and it is a journey of creating the person that I want to be, and not even so much the person that I want my family and my kids to be important or to be proud of, it's someone that I wanted to be proud of myself. And because of that, I had to learn to forgive and learn to forget. What I learned from past experiences is that when we're holding on to something or holding a memory where we felt someone else has wronged us, that bitterness and resentment, all it's doing is inviting disease and darkness into our own souls and our own lives. And the person that we are holding that resentment against has no idea, for the most part, what we're doing to ourselves. When we don't release that forgiveness, we create problems in our own lives relating to trust, intimacy, anger, judgment, and bitterness. When people have said that trauma is the shocking event in your life, it's holding you back, it's very true. But it's not the event, it's our own individual selves who won't release what has happened to us. And that's why I always say, as part of being an emergent soul, is that what has happened to you does not define who you are. We have to remember that we play a part in everything that happens to us, good and bad. And we're not victims unless you choose to be that. A common response to trauma is anger. And in that anger, we hold on to emotions such as rage, hatred, and vengeance. And that becomes a part of someone's identity. But when we try to balance our lives, our goal should to be at peace. And that's something that I strive for on a daily basis, is to not have drama in my life and to create an environment where I can truly be peaceful with myself, and limit the things that can trigger me, that's going to cause me to be in an imbalanced state. There is no perfect world, but there is an opportunity to try and reduce the things that cause an imbalance or make you feel less than. It's true that hurt people, and most perpetrators hurt others because they believe that there's an imbalance of power and equity. When you choose to have a sense of fairness personally and choose to change the overall conditions of your life, that is what can have an impact in the world you live in. Think about it. How effective do you function when you walk around being angry. Part of our healing process requires you to become aware and discern between rage and outrage. Both require determination, passion, and action, but you have to be careful not to look short-term or have a narrow, blinded focus based on fury. But you have to look for a long-term solution. My incident that caused me to find forgiveness in myself had to do with not putting myself first and expecting other people to do. So I had to begin a practice of forgiveness. Our existence is so full of loss and unpredictability, and it's important, at least it was for me, to accept life on my own terms. I tried to meditate. I try to ask for forgiveness. I try to forgive those who I feel that their words or actions might have harmed me or hurt me. And most importantly, on a daily basis, I try to practice to forgive myself. If for any reason you find you're unable to find forgiveness, then practice reconciliation. That's where you can accept the fact that you're unable to offer forgiveness at this time, but you're allowing your heart and your mind to accept the person just as they are. And that's what I'm trying to do, is accept myself as I am, so I'm not judging myself, but offering myself self-love. Reconciliation is not resignation or defeat. It's an acknowledgement that you're going to rewrite your past and accept your truth, so it's going to enable you to heal. When you forgive, you can't change your past, but you definitely can change your future. Emergent soul, remember, what happens to you does not define who you are. Allow yourself the opportunity to create the person and the life that you choose to live for yourself. Thank you for listening to this episode of Emergent Soul Conversations. Join me next time to gain more insights on how to live a life by design and not default. If this was your first time tuning into the show, please make sure and hit the subscribe button below and follow me on Instagram at Emergent Soul. Remember, what happens to you does not define you. Your emergent soul.